Hi, everybody's got a worldview, right? Everybody thinks about how the world works, and when something like this happens with coronavirus, it's not just in your own country, but the entire world. I think a lot of people's worldviews are being challenged right now. It's fair to say, right, that it's really out of our comfort zone. A thing like this didn't happen. Quite a few of my friends are quite shocked that the loss of freedom in America, where freedom is kind of sacrosanct and really one of the founding things of this nation. So, with the worldview, it's like how do you view reality, basically? I must say that at one time I didn't believe in angels. I thought that they're like in the same kind of ballpark as fairies and stuff like this. But now I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, angels are reality. They're described in the Bible as ministering spirits. That's servant kind of things. Also, when Jesus is speaking about what is the kingdom of heaven like, he's also talking about the difference between the mindset of a servant and the mindset of a child. There's one of his parables where the workers in the field were paid the same amount, even though some of them have worked the entire day in the heat of the day. Some of them just worked in the last couple of hours. But you know, if you really had the heart of a child, you would want to work for your father for nothing, like this kind of thing. And many of Jesus' parables, when he's speaking about the kingdom of heaven, are kind of emphasizing this point, the difference between the mindset of a child to the mindset of a servant. So, when we look at the fall of man, as I say, I didn't believe in angels before, but then the fall of man that Reverend Moon described made so much sense with this uh, with this factor of angels. So I took it on board and thought, okay, it seems likely and logical that they exist. And if then it is so that the archangel, became the false ruler of this world, the false god of this world. You can look at it in Bible, John 12:31 and 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, where Satan has this kind of description. Then Satan is a servant and has been ruling over mankind since the time of the fall of man, maybe tens of millions of years ago in measured time, but just 6,000 biblical years. And this is why, basically, government has been fundamentally, for the most part, oppressive. This is why America is really like an amazing thing. So, when we're talking about these kind of things, we're talking about the last days, and this is like the final showdown between God and Satan, this in this last days. So also, all these things which are happening, it's making people think about what is really happening in this world. The biggest cause of death in this planet, and has been for a long time, is democide. That's death by government. This is not a small thing. Also, it looks like this virus, which has a very long gestation period, so you don't even know whether you got it for like 1 or 2 weeks, and then you can be infecting other people. So it's really like damaging the economy in a very big way, and all of the restrictions which are taking place and all the shutdowns. This is like a shutdown like worldwide. So as I say, it must be challenging your worldview right now, how this is playing out. And so I just wanted to talk about this. And yeah, if you look at Reverend Moon's teaching, and there's a part in the principle, Satan's activities in fallen human society, which is in the 2nd chapter, speaking about the fall of man. At one time I regarded this in a very theoretical light, but now I really feel it's a very, very ill thing how Satan is working in the spiritual world with a hierarchical structure, and then the evil spirits of those there are contacting the evil spirit of the person on the earth, and then Satan's actions are being manifested on this earth. Very, very interesting. So it's like, the other thing is, we're in this like a second stage of our life now. We're in the watery world of the womb to start off with. Basically, it's preparation to come into this world. And, we're born in this world, and sooner or later we will die. But this is not, we don't really die. We go to the third stage of life. Third stage of life is where the angels are, but they were created as is, whereas we have to go through different stages of development, and also we have a responsibility to perfect our own spirit. Okay, the angels have a certain degree of freedom, otherwise the fall of man could not have taken place. But on the other hand, mankind is created in the direct image of God, which is a whole different thing. So the angels are basically in the servant position. We have a skewed understanding of what means servant, but you have to love your servants if you want to get the best out of them. And there's also the difference between a servant and a child. The servant is always looking for some kind of reward, where the child is basically looking to please their parents and bring honor and glory and joy to their parents. So we've been living under a false dominion for a long, long time. And I believe that in these last days, then a lot of things are going to start to polarize. We start to understand this hidden dimension of history, which we never really understood before, this fundamental battle between good and evil. And this is really the last days. So I'd encourage you to have a look at this ideology of Reverend Moon. You can get a PDF copy of the Exposition of the Divine Principle online and study it. And then we can have a talk together. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good night.